Thank you, John Mark, for explaining the functions, input, and output of our computer. Now, let us continue with the history of our computers. Wait, that's me. History of computers. The first counting device was used by primitive people. They used sticks, stones, and bones as counting tools. As human mind and technology improves with the time, more computing devices were developed, just like abacus. The history of computer begins with the birth of abacus, which is believed to be the first computer. It is said that Chinese invented abacus around 4,000 years ago. It was a wooden rack which has metal rods with beads mounted on them. The beads were moved by abacus operator according to some rules to perform arithmetic calculations. Abacus is still used in some countries like China, Russia, and Japan. Napier bones. It was manually operated calculating device which was invented by John Napier of Merkinston. In this calculating tool, he used 9 different ivory strips or bones marked with numbers in multiple and divided. So the tool became known as Napier bones. It was also the first machine to use a decimal point. Pascaline. Pascaline is known as arithmetic machine or adding machine. It was invented between 1642 and 1644 by a French mathematician, philosopher, Bsit-Pascal. It is believed that it was the first mechanical and automatic calculator. Pascal invented this machine to help his father, a tax accountant. It could only perform addition and subtraction. It was a wooden box with a series of gears and wheels. When a wheel is rotated, it rotates a neighboring wheel. A series of windows is given on the top of the wheel to read the totals. Step rock structure was developed by a German mathematician philosopher, Gottfried Leibniz, in 1673. He improved Pascal's inventions to develop this machine. It was a digital mechanical calculator which was called the step reckoner, as instead of gears it was made of fluted drums. Now then, after our encounter with the history of computing or computer as it said in the description, now we shall start with the difference engine. In the early 1820s, it was designed by Charles Babbage, who is known as father of modern computer. It was a mechanical computer which could perform simple calculations. It was a steam-driven calculating machine designed to solve tables of numbers like logarithm tables. Amazing. Analytical engine. This calculating machine was also developed by Charles Babbage in 1830. It was a mechanical computer that used punch cards as input. It was capable of solving any mathematical problem and storing information as a permanent memory. Tabulating machine. It was invented in 1890 by Herman Herret, an American statistician. It was a mechanical tabulator based on punch cards. It could tabulate statistic and record or sort data or information. This machine was used in 1890. U.S. Census Hellerith also started the Hellerith's Tabulating Machine Company, which later became International Business Machine, IBM for short, in 1924. Differential Analyzer. It was the first electronic computer introduced in the United States in 1930. It was an analog device invented by Vannevar Bush. Vannevar Bush description. This machine was vacuum tubes to switch electrical signals to perform calculations. It could do 25 calculations in few minutes. Wow, amazing. Now, our next engine is a unique one, made from the Avengers, from Tony Stark itself, the Mark 1. Just kidding. Mark 1. The major changes in history of computer began in 1937 when Howard Aiken planned to develop a machine that could perform calculations involving large numbers involving large numbers. Uh, Generation of computers. A generation of computers refers to the specific improvement in computer technology within time. In 1946, electronic pathways called circuits were developed in performing the counting. It replaced the gears and other mechanical parts used for counting in previous counting machines. In each new generation of circuits became smaller and more advanced that the previous generation circuits. The mini the miniaturized helped increase the speed, memory, and power of computers. These are the 5 generations of computers. First generation computers. The first generation computers were slow, huge, and expensive. In these computers, vacuum tubes were used as basic components of CPU and memory. These computers were mainly dependent on batch operating system and punch cards. Magnetic tape and paper tape were used as output and input devices in generation. Some of the popular first generation computers are second generation computers. The second generation was the era of the transistor computers. These computers used transistors, which were cheap, compact, and consuming less power. It made transistor computers faster than the first generation computers. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as primary memory, and magnetic disks and tapes were used as the secondary storage. Assembly language and programming language like COBOL and Fortran and batch processing and multi-programming operation systems were used in these computers. Some of the popular second generation computers are